Little brown bird, take me away. Little brown bird, Harita Cafe, Harita Cafe.
What's this?
Hey. Hello?
Excuse me, sir.
Medical, Central 10, standing by for VKG.
Go ahead, Central 10.
We have a deceased at this location. It appears suspicious. Can we have central detectives across the 10?
Copy that.
Poor pussycat.
Of course, I want that cat. And the bird's bag, thanks.
There's not much to show for the life, is it?
Resting place.
Some people call it home.
Morning.
Morning.
Uniforms, found him about an hour ago.
Right. Do we have a name?
Not so far.
Look, that bag might help us. Okay. Any witnesses?
Not as yet.
Look, it's yours, Imogen. Be very careful, though, won't you? Well, some people would not want to notice a lump under a blanket. Tessa, that. Found it next to the body.
Well, there are no visible injuries.
Do you know how long he's been dead, Toots?
I'd say 3 to 4 hours. Rigor mortis is just starting.
Old blokes like this usually die of malnutrition, exposure, alcoholic poisoning.
I don't think the cat and birds died of alcoholic poisoning, do you?
Well, exactly. That's why the local police called us in. They thought that somebody might be laying poisonous bait for the birds.
You wouldn't leave poison food around here. Surely people would eat it.
Birds, cats, derros, are all vermin to some people.
Could we do an autopsy on the animal, see if it was something they ate?
No, yes, of course. I'll take it to a vet's and get a tissue sample.
Okay, look, canvass the area. Find out who used the underpass, why, when. Get a photograph of the old bloke. You never know. Might jog somebody's memory.
Okay.
Don't know, I've never seen it. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I've seen him around.
Can you tell me when?
Just be a sec, Fleur. Duke! Sorry, it gets busy in here.
Heard you the first time. Ah, Fleur. 2 caps? Coming right up. You look nice today.
You don't. I'll do that. This detective wants to speak to you.
Look, if this is about the health report, they gave me 2 weeks to
I'm
get
from
rid of it.
Homicide, Detective Vance.
Homicide? Ah. Thank you, your carcass. You can call me Duke.
Can you tell me if you've seen this man? He was found dead at the underpass this morning.
Dead?
There's a lot of derros under there. Can't tell one from the other. Poor man.
I was telling your wife, we found a sandwich bag and a coffee cup by the body. They appear to have come from your shop.
Oh, well, a lot of people come to my shop, you know. We make good coffee.
Did he ever buy food from here?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, everyone gets hungry.
There you go. See you at lunchtime.
When was the last time you saw him?
Oh, a few days ago?
Right, you sure about that?
Yeah. I haven't seen him for 2 days.
This car business is a funny thing, Inspector. It doesn't matter how bad things get, people still like their luxury cars. The funniest thing is, the worse things are, the more they like them. Do you like this one?
Oh, it's nice.
Champagne car, exceptional vintage. Go on, take a seat, make yourself comfortable. You in the market for one of these yourself?
No, I'm just window shopping.
Pollution. I'll be glad when I can get these things undercover.
Thinking of taking out a second mortgage, Malcolm?
Julius Hogg, Detective Hayden.
How do you do?
You investigating the death of the wino?
Yes. You know him?
Well, no, not to speak to. I mean, the only good thing about winos is they keep the price of property nice and low.
When did you last see him, Mr. Hogg?
Julius, please. I don't make a big point of my last name, you know. Yesterday.
What time yesterday?
6, maybe 7 at night. I was looking up. The old fellow was coming down the stairs. Poor old bloke, he had a limp. Know what I'm saying?
Where was he headed?
Duke's. The guy who owns the Greasy Spoon, he thinks he's John Wayne. Now, he'd shut up shop for the night. Oh, the wino put on a turn outside.
What, they had an argument?
Yeah. Duke told him to nick off.
Do you know what the argument was about?
No. Hey, Fleur. What was the name of that Darrow who's always hanging around?
The one with the red beanie or the dead one?
The dead one.
Why would I know that, Julius? I heard about it at Duke's.
The one with the red beanie. What can you tell me about him?
He smells.
Do you know where I might find him?
Sewer's probably your best bet.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Hogg. Julius.
Duke never said anything about an argument with the old man to me.
Maybe you'll have to jog his memory.
Well, no point until we know if we're dealing with a homicide or not.
Reckon he found his lunch in that stuff?
There was no bait found at the scene.
So you're discounting poison then?
No, I'm not discounting anything, Tessa. I'll have to wait for the autopsy results. However, I will send off the food wrappers for analysis. As far as the animals go, again, I'm waiting on the autopsy results.
Oh, that stinks.
Don't touch Hayden. I'm still to process that for fibres.
Fisk, have you got anything on his personal history?
Yes, it was all in the airline bag. There is a wallet.
Douglas Burney, born 1941, September 16th.
Makes him 56.
He looked close to 70, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Anything else, Fisk?
This is a photo D.
Yeah.
Show the photo to the detectives, will you? Looks like it was taken in America by the look of the car. Looks like about 20 years ago.
I'm going to blow it up, see if we can get the state on the number plates. Could be some help in tracing the son.
Yeah.
Dear Dad, I got a new dog. I miss you. I'm well. Mum's well. The dog's well. Mum has a new boyfriend. When will you visit? I miss you. Love from Toby.
He was a fitter and turner, grade 2. This sounds like a marriage breakup. Wife got custody of the child and took off overseas.
How would you be, eh? Not knowing if your father was alive or dead.
You may not care.
There's a men's shelter near the underpass. The proprietor thinks she might be able to give us a positive ID on the body.
Thanks, Fisk. We'll leave you to it.
Thanks, Fisk.
Dee?
Yeah.
Do those photographs away, will you?
Sure. Must have loved his son. To carry that round with him for all that time.
Wasn't that supposed to compensate not being there for 20 years, is it? Don't think so, Dee.
Tell me, Miss Teldane, was Douglas Burney a resident at your men's shelter?
Oh, no. He sometimes came to the soup kitchen. Poor Douglas.
Did he have any family or friends that you know of?
No, if he had family, he'd left them long ago. Friends.
There was a mattress next to the one that Douglas was found on.
Could have been used by anyone.
But no one that you know of in particular?
Are you treating his death as a murder?
We're treating it as a suspicious death, yes.
It's hardly likely, though, is it? Men like Douglas are vulnerable. You might be surprised how many of them die of simple things like being too cold and not having enough to eat. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't something like that.
Tell me, do any of the men at the shelter wear a red beanie?
Douglas made friends with a young schizophrenic called Nero. He wears one.
Do you know how we might contact him?
No, he's hard to keep track of. He comes to the shelter for food when he remembers to eat, but he often doesn't remember. Should I collect Douglas's things now?
Well, he didn't have very much with him. His clothes are virtually rags.
Still, there might be something useful for the shelter amongst it all.
We'll need to keep them for a little while longer, I'm sorry.
When you said you'd be delayed 5 minutes, I thought you meant 5 minutes, not 25.
Well, apologies, Imogen, but I did turn up something rather interesting at the lab.
Ah, no doubt you'll enlighten us.
Oh, if you behave yourself, Imogen.
So, this is the man's last meal.
Can you tell us what it was?
Looks like undigested meat. Chicken, probably. And this bit is bread.
The sandwich bag.
Ah, yes, now, he's taken that from the bin at the underpass.
How do you know that?
Well, the pattern of oil deposits at the bottom of the bag and other stains indicate that it was definitely found on top of other rubbish.
If the bagged sandwich contained poison, then it was intended for human consumption.
Someone cleaning up human vermin.
Or was it intended specifically for Douglas Burney?
Why would anyone want to kill him?
Yes, well, I think I might be able to shed some light on that subject. We found his tobacco stash in his mattress.
So he took good care of his tobacco?
He was taking good care of more than just his tobacco. See for yourself. Be careful you don't slice all the way through.
Righto. $100.
98 of them. How good's your maths?
$9,800.
Very good.
So it looks like we've got a motive.
The money wasn't taken, Tessa.
No, but someone could have been looking for it.
Well, the brand new notes. Reserve Bank should be able to trace the serial numbers to a specific bank or branch. Unfortunately, they won't be able to give us the names of those individual accounts.
What about reports of robberies?
Well, there hasn't been not of that amount. Yo.
Found some red fibres on the victim's vest. It didn't match any of his other clothing, so there's a possibility that someone has moved the body after death.
Any ideas who?
There's a vagrant called Nero we've been trying to trace. He likes to wear red.
That woman from the shelter, Faith Teldane, she seemed very keen, thanks to pick up Douglas's belongings, didn't she?
Yeah, but there's nothing to tie it to the body, Tess.
Lab report. Douglas Burney was killed with strychnine. It was in the chicken sandwich.
What about the animals, Fisk?
Yeah, the same. They must have eaten the scraps or something. There's enough poison in that sandwich to kill a blue whale.
OK, well, money may well be the motive, but I don't want to discount the idea of some fruitcake out there trying to clean up the streets.
Somehow greed's a more palatable motive, isn't it?
I think it's about time we got a statement from the Duke. See if he can make up his mind about seeing Douglas Burney last night.
Pity you didn't let me know. Waiting around makes me unhappy.
I didn't ask you to wait around.
I don't intend to, but I am a generous man. I will give you another day.
Back against the scene? Not another body, I hope.
This is Dave Hayden.
Talk later then. Yeah. Tell your boss I have got an MGB Roadster convertible, the real McCoy, but he will have to be quick.
Mr. Dukakis, we've got a couple of things we'd like to clear up with you.
Yeah, sure. Shoot.
You told Detective Vance that you hadn't seen Douglas Burney for 2 days. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, that's right.
I have a witness who saw you arguing with Douglas about 6 o'clock last night.
Who?
Were you with Douglas Burney last night, sir?
Well, I thought it was the night before, but, well, now you come to mention it, yeah, that's probably right.
And why didn't you tell us that before?
Oh, I forgot. All right, so I didn't want to get involved, you know? I mean, cops hanging around, it's bad for business.
Will you come down to homicide and make a statement for us, sir?
Do you think he was murdered?
It's looking that way.
Yeah, but you can't possibly think I had anything to do with it.
We'd just like you to help us with our line of inquiries, all right?
Mrs. Dukakis, I'd like a sample of your chicken salad, please.
Sure, yeah. Anything else you want? A burger or anything?
No, that'll be fine, thank you. Okay, we'll go in our car.
Duke, it's nearly lunchtime. I can't manage on my own.
Well, you're going to have to.
So you did see Douglas Burney last night? What time?
Oh, 6, 7, I don't know. But we weren't arguing.
Then what did he want?
Food. Well, we had a deal.
What sort of deal?
Well, if he didn't come into the shop, I'd feed him, you know. Breakfast, dinner, leftovers. I mean, nothing bad. You know.
Why didn't you want him in the shop?
Oh, well, scared away the customers. He didn't smell that great, you know. Leela was frightened of him. Well, you know women, weak stomachs.
Right. So he came into the shop at 6 to get his dinner, right?
Yeah, but I couldn't give it to him then. You know, well, Leela and I were in bed, you know.
So he was downstairs calling out to you. Then what?
Well, I stuck my head out the window and told him to clear off.
And that was the only contact you had with him?
Oh, well, later when I went downstairs, I ate a leftover sandwich, you know. I started thinking about Douglas and I felt bad, so I went and got a meat pie out of the cool room and I put it out on the front step for him.
You sure it was a meat pie?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then what did you do?
I went out.
Where?
Casino.
To gamble?
Yeah, put a bit of money through the pokies. You know.
How much is a bit?
Ah, a few dollars.
Had any luck in tracing the son yet?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Cute kid. Funny to think he's a grown man now. Could be hard to trace him. I mean, if the mother remarried, he'd have a different surname. Oh, although I suppose if they find a record of Douglas Burney's marriage...
You've got some work to do, have you, do?
What?
Because I, for one, have got some work to do. What I don't have time for, unlike you, is to play private detective.
Sorry.
And quite frankly, I really do not think it is any of our business.
I just think it's important if the son knows whether his father's alive or dead, that's all.
Of course it's important, Dee. Yes, it is important to know, naturally, the son will be informed through the appropriate channels. Look, I think you better file those.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
We got your message.
You command and we obey, sire.
All right. The chicken. The chicken from Duke's Diner is not the same as the chicken in Douglas Burney's gut. Different mix altogether. However, there's one small anomaly. The oil, the deposits thereof on the sandwich bag. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's fish oil.
But that was a chicken sandwich.
Yes, it was. But this bag was originally used for a sandwich containing fish.
What, so are you saying that the bag was reused?
Well, it seems that way.
Who do we know eats at Duke's Diner?
So, Mr. Hogg, you do usually get your lunch from Duke's?
Yeah, every day. We're regulars. We phone in our orders. We got an account. It simplifies things.
What did you have for lunch yesterday, Mr. Hogg?
Yesterday?
Oh, you didn't eat lunch yesterday. You were tied up with that client.
Oh, yeah. I sold a Corvette. It was a very nice car.
Right, so you didn't collect your lunch at all yesterday?
I don't know. Excuse me.
No, I usually do it. I got tied up with finance. I didn't get a chance to pick it up.
Just looking. That's the trouble with half these blokes. Now, I'm a pretty busy man.
Mr. Hogg, it would be really useful to us if you could just remember what you usually have for lunch.
Salmon, smoked salmon sandwiches, that's what I have. Now, look, I understand that you care what happened to the whiner, but really, God helps those who help themselves. Well, he helped me. I was in shoes, and then I went into real estate.
Right, that'll probably do us. That's great. Thanks, Mr. Hogg. Well, we could assume that the poison sandwich was wrapped in Hogg's sandwich bag.
Yeah, but Hogg and Fleur said it was never collected.
Yeah, if that's true, it could have been resold.
Yeah, maybe.
Hello there.
Hello.
I was crossing above and I heard you both. The acoustics here are very good. So, how's it all going?
Oh, we need to speak to Douglas's friend. Have you seen him at all?
No, Nero hasn't been back to the shelter for a few days. Just hope he's taking his medication.
Faith, do you keep any poisons around the shelter? Baits for vermin, rats, that sort of thing?
We don't have any need. What's this about?
Douglas Burney was poisoned, Faith.
Steve?
Yeah.
That's him. That's Nero.
Nero!
Nero!
Oh, Nero!
Money was released from a suburban bank 6 weeks ago.
Do we know who withdrew it?
They can't tell us that. Now, what about this friend of Douglas's, Nero? Anything more?
He's a fast runner.
What about the source of the strychnine?
No, nothing yet.
Well, get a copy of the face that she's doing and have it posted in the general area. I've got a radio interview. The tabloids are beating up Douglas Burney's death as the first in a purge.
Well, you said yourself that it could be.
Well, if Douglas Burney wants a target, smear campaign is not going to help our investigation.
I don't know if it's a very faithful likeness. He always wears a red beanie, so I'm not sure about the shape of his forehead.
Oh, you filthy scum. Get away! Get away!
Where'd you get that mongrel husband of yours to fork out on some maintenance? Such a tight ass.
You shouldn't say things like that, Carlo.
Why? Think you set this place bugs?
Stop it.
Hey, you think I should ask her out? The spunk next door?
Fleur.
That her name?
Hello again.
We're closed.
Oh, it's okay. Duke's gone up to the bank, I think.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Carlo. This is my brother, Carlo. Carlo, this is Detective...
Vance. Tessa Vance.
Never met a detective before.
Mrs. Dukakis, there's something else I needed to check with you. The food that's left over in the shop, what do you do with that? For instance, if someone made an order and didn't pick it up, what would you do with it?
Oh, throw it out, I guess. Sometimes I might try and resell it. Or Duke might eat it.
Carlo, do you work around here?
At a restaurant on the other side of the underpass. So you're investigating the death of this wino?
Douglas Burney, yeah. Did you know him?
Yeah, I'd seen him. I walk through the underpass to get here sometimes, but I never even spoke to him.
Right. Have you been through the underpass in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, half an hour ago. Some Dero was hassling me. A kid, really.
Was he wearing a red beanie?
Yeah, he was. If you ask me, those people should be locked up at night. They make it dangerous to walk the streets.
What about
about this death in today's paper?
Look, what we have here is a tragic situation which is currently under investigation.
But it seems to be getting worse.
There's been no increase in the incidence of crime against the homeless, although reports suggest that assaults on vagrants in the inner city has increased 10% this winter.
You mean there is nothing to worry about?
I think you'll find that these statistics reveal an increase in the number of assaults being reported, not an increase in the number of incidents.
Little brown bird, take me away. Little brown bird, Burrito Cafe. Burrito Cafe.
Tessa Vance.
Hi, it's me. We've got another body at the underpass. I'll see you there.
Right, I'll be right there.
The security guard found the body as she was finishing a shift, about 5 o'clock this morning. Someone wasn't mucking around.
Morning.
This isn't a vagrant.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Something about this place. The victim's been dead 6 to 8 hours. It was a hammer blow to the back of the head. It would have been mercifully fast.
Do we have an ID?
Well, he's a local. We found a wallet.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
It's Duke, the diner. Yes, he's my husband. How could anyone?
Can we go inside now, please?
Okay, so you found the body about 6 o'clock this morning.
That's right.
Right, okay. Did you see anybody on your rounds last night?
Chased a wino out of here, a little after 10.
Can you describe him?
Not really, it was dark.
Can you try?
Maybe Nero heard the argument between Duke and Douglas Burney. He might have thought the Duke killed Douglas and wanted to get revenge.
Yeah, but where does the money fit in?
You don't think the deaths are connected?
I don't know.
Hello?
Can we help you?
I just wanted to know if we're getting police protection.
Do you think you need it?
Obviously we need it. 2 people have been murdered. Oh, if everyone wasn't such a bleeding heart, this Darrow problem would have been fixed long ago.
Hello? Nero?
Douglas was your friend, wasn't he? Can you tell us anything about the night that Douglas died? Anything at all that you tell us is going to help?
He was shaking. Violent shaking. He couldn't breathe. You could see his veins bulging out and they nearly burst. His eyes were rolling back in his head. He couldn't talk. He jolted. I wanted him to stop. I held him and I sang. Little brown bird, take me away. Little brown bird, Parajito Cafe. Parajito Cafe.
Nero, did you stay in the dumpster last night? Did you sleep there?
A man was murdered near the dumpster last night. Do you know anything about that?
No.
No?
No, I sleep in the dumpsters sometimes. Woke up this morning, all these cops are around. So I stayed put.
Did you know the victim?
Man from the coffee shop at Duke.
Did you hear Duke and Douglas having an argument the night before last?
Yes.
Do you know what they were arguing about?
Douglas wanted to tell him...
What?
He wanted to tell him that...
What, Nero?
Oh, he wanted to tell him... What? He was telling him... I stole the pie. I took it from outside Duke's. No one wanted it.
That's fine. That's okay. What'd you keep in the box?
Mother and Douglas. That's enough. I want my $10,000.
Where is it?
Well, it's not in the bank. You can't trust banks. He kept it for me.
Who did?
Douglas.
You gave the money to Douglas for safekeeping?
Yes.
Yep, it all checks out. Nero's mother left him the money. A friend of the family handed it over 6 weeks ago, and Nero gave the money to Douglas for safekeeping.
We don't believe money's the motive for Douglas Burney's death. The motive for both of these murders is still unclear, yet you think they're related?
Well, both men knew each other. They're both dead. It's a bit of a coincidence.
You're suggesting that Duke was killed because he knew something about Douglas Burney's murder?
It's possible.
Wicked flee where no man pursueth.
Is anybody doing anything about getting him home?
He doesn't have a home.
Well, post him somewhere.
I'll ring Faith Teldane and tell her to come and pick him up.
The wicked flee where no man pursueth. The right...
It's okay, it's all right. Just come over here.
Just crossing above and I heard you both. The acoustics here are very good.
Smoked salmon sandwiches, that's what I had.
Later, when I went downstairs, I had a leftover sandwich, you know.
Douglas wanted to tell him. He was telling him.
Faith Teldane's here.
Hey, I think we've been looking at this back to front. What if Douglas Burney was killed because of Duke? Douglas was trying to speak to Duke the night that he died. Nero said that there was something that he was trying to tell him. I think that Douglas overheard something about Duke that he wasn't supposed to hear, and he was killed because of it.
Goodness me. You are a rich young man. Got to see about opening a bank account for you.
Faith's come to look after you, Nero.
I didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to what, Nero? Come on, use your brain.
I lost it.
Your brain? What did you lose?
My red comb.
Oh, Nero. I bought all the gentlemen combs last week, and I told Nero if he lost his, I'd eat him for breakfast.
Douglas was looking after it.
Well, that wasn't much use to you, was it? Come on, get all your loot together. Oh, I heard about Duke. It was very sad. Still, I suppose Julius Hogg will view it as a golden opportunity.
Julius Hogg, what's that?
Well, he's been wanting to buy Duke's property for months now. What a sleaze.
So, Mr. Hogg, you're interested in buying the Dukakis property, turning it into an undercover showroom, is that right?
Yes, I just renewed my offer today.
It's odd timing. Her husband has been murdered.
Not striking while the iron is hot.
Where were you about 10 o'clock last night, Mr. Hogg?
Home.
Can anyone verify that, sir?
I live alone. What's going on? What are you getting at?
I need a lease contract.
Yes, hurry up. I got nothing to hide. If you're suggesting that I had anything to do with Duke's death, you are wrong.
But now you can pressure his wife into selling a very valuable piece of real estate that you've been after for quite some time, Mr. Hogg.
The lot next door has just come up for sale. The council notified me about it last week. I don't need Duke's property.
Which probably cheeses Leela right off. Well, she's desperate to sell. Duke wouldn't do it, drove her to tears.
She's asleep. I don't want to wake her.
I'm sorry, but there are a couple of things we need to clarify.
We've told you everything we know.
We know that Douglas tried to speak to Duke on the night that he was poisoned.
Well, Leela told you he wanted food.
Or did he want to warn Duke?
What about?
Carlo, have you ever noticed the acoustics around the underpass? They're very good. We think that Douglas might have overheard something that he wanted to warn Duke about.
What do you reckon he could have heard, Carlo?
I don't know.
Did your sister ever discuss a marriage with you, Carlo? Any problems that she might be having?
She didn't have to tell me. I saw how he treated her. She worked her fingers to the bone for that mongrel. She deserved better than this stinking place.
She would have been happy to sell then.
Did she tell you that Julius Hogg had made Duke an offer?
He wasn't going to sell. He wanted to wait. Greedy bastard. He wanted to wait. Wait for what? They'd never get a better offer.
So you had talked about it?
What a quiet word in the underpass. You got angry? Maybe even discuss how things would have been easier with Duke out of the way,
And that
huh?
could have sounded like a threat to Douglas when Duke was his benefactor. He gave him food, coffee. So when Douglas thought that Duke was in danger, he wanted to warn him, didn't he? But Duke wouldn't come down to speak to him.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, were you afraid of what Duke might do when he found out you'd been plotting against him?
He'd have killed her.
So with Duke out of the way, your sister would have been happier, right? Is that why you took a hammer to him, Carlo? Smashed his head in?
No, I couldn't have done that.
Well, someone did, Carlo. Somebody gave your sister a way out.
You don't know what he was like. You don't know how he treated her. No one could have expected her to go on taking that.
Shut up, Carlo!
Oh, God. God.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
Duke never beat me. It was all up here. It was like a game to him. He'd promise me things and then he'd change his mind. He used to tease me. Fleur's so pretty. Why don't you do something to yourself to make yourself look more like her? He called me things.
He used to say stuff to her like, "You look like a greasy pig, Leela." Then he'd laugh at her.
Tell us about the night of Douglas Burney's death, why he was killed.
I met Carlo at the underpass. We talked about killing my husband. That night, the wino came to the shop. He was downstairs yelling out at Duke. He wanted to tell him something. And I realised he must have overheard us at the underpass. I knew he was going to tell Duke. Duke later decided to go to the casino. I got up. He'd left a mess as usual. Pig.
A mess?
Oh, he'd stuffed his face with leftovers just before he'd gone out. Oh, sandwich, I think.
Was it the salmon sandwich Julius Hogg didn't pick up?
When I came over, we found the poison Duke had kept for rats. Leela had made a sandwich.
Not from food used in the shop.
No, from the chicken casserole my mother made. I put the poison in the sandwich, put it in the bag, and gave it to Carlo to put in the bin near the wino. I knew he'd find the sandwich. I didn't think anyone would care if he died.
But that still left your husband, didn't it? Time was running out. You knew that if Duke didn't sell, Hogg could buy the council land on the other side.
Did you do everything your sister told you to do, Carlo?
She deserved better.
Did you kill Duke?
Did you get Carlo to beat your husband over the head with the hammer?
Carlo's such a gentle soul, he could never do a thing like that. No, in the end, the hard work was always left up to me.
Smashed his head in with a hammer. I doubt you'd even blink.
Well, the brother's a cock case. Puts a whole new slant on brotherly love, doesn't it?
I think Carlo got a huge shock when he saw Duke. I mean, talking about smashing someone with a hammer is one thing, but actually doing it.
Fisk, we're going to the bar for a drink. Would you like to come?
Yes, I'll be there later. Malcolm?
Yeah?
Douglas Burney's son, has he been located?
This afternoon.
Right. You got a contact number?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, look, I'm just ringing to inform you that your father had several items on him when he passed away. I thought you might like them. Right. This is a trade certificate and a photo of a child taken in America, standing by a car with a dog, yes. Yes, I thought it was you. Look, I just wanted you to know that your father carried it with him all those years. He obviously thought a lot of it. He thought a lot of you.
Yeah, I know Fisk's dad grows roses or something, but I never ever heard him mention his mum.
Dare you to ask him?
You ask him, I don't want my head bitten off.
I think, reading between the lines...
That'd be written in invisible ink, wouldn't it?
I think that his mother walked out on the family when he was a child.
So, what's the topic of fascination this evening?
We were just talking about moulds.
Moulds? Moulds are actually very fascinating, you know. I remember a case 10 years ago, no, 15 years ago. We actually caught the murderer of a telltale fungus found on his socks, of all things.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Aspergillus it was. No.
Cheers, Sergeant.
Cheers to moulds.